So you want to learn Zerg? Well, you've come to the right place. Let me show you what we'll go through. We'll go through builds, avoiding supply block, taking a third base and spreading creep, scouts, scout timings, upgrade timings, and then we'll go over positioning, trading, and overall disruption of the enemy. So for build orders, 95% of all games, Zergs make a 16 hatchery fast expand with a spawning pool and gas, and then they also take a third base. This is done against all races with few exceptions of 1 or 2 base all-ins or 2 base timing attacks. Avoiding supply block as a Zerg is a little difficult for two main reasons. The first one being that the Overlord is a slowly moving flying unit. Nearly every unit in the game can catch up to it and kill it at any time if it's in a bad position. The second reason being that in order to make an Overlord, you have to use up a larva, and the larva can be used to make all Zerg units. In other words, you might be in a situation where you have to make army instead of an Overlord and lose because of it. So to avoid losing Overlords, keep them close to your base. Taking a third base always happens after making 2 queens and a few links at around 220 or 240. Creep spread starts with your second queen, the one at your natural expansion. What you should do next is make additional queens from every hatchery that you have, and keep spreading the creep to all points of the map. The more creep tumors you make, the better, because they give vision. Keep in mind that you miss only 2 larva injects because you use the energy for the first 2 creep tumors. Zergs have 4 scout units. In tier 1 we have the Overlord, which is used only at the beginning of the game, and Zerglings. Zerglings have 6.58 speed, making it the fastest unit in the game, but unfortunately it's also fragile. In tier 2 we have the Overseer and the Mutalisk, both flying units with great scouting and disruption potential. In most games, Zergs don't really scout that much, since they are the most economic race. What does that mean? It means that they should be the one that defend themselves instead of attacking. But you might want to send a scout to see whether your opponent is making a third or not, or if he's just 2 base all-inning you. When playing as a Zerg, upgrades don't really have a specific timing unless you're doing a time attack. It all depends on how well you defend yourself and how saturated your bases are. In the majority of games, Dark goes for 6:30 to 7 minute double evolution chamber, but there are also exceptions. In this game, he made 2 evolution chambers at 4:30, and in this one he didn't make upgrades at all. So it's really up to you and your economy. As I said earlier, as a Zerg you don't want to attack. All you need to do is take bases and defend. So in terms of positioning, whether you're attacking or defending, being on creep helps a ton, because it gives you additional movement speed. And with movement speed, you can reach and dodge everything, and if you're losing a fight, you can always run away. As for trading, Zergs tend to have an overwhelming amount of units most of the time, so it doesn't really matter if you lose many Zerglings. In this fight, Dark loses all of his Zerglings, but he kills 5 Void Rays and 3 Archons. This is a perfect example of a good trade. Disruption as a Zerg almost always happens with the Zergling runbys, Banelink runbys, Nidus Worms, and obviously Mutalisks. Those 4 have been used from the beginning of time and will always be used because of their efficiency. And the last step to becoming good is doing all those things as fast as you possibly can at the same time. Multitasking is essential in playing an RTS game, and the more you do it, the more you'll win. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the ladder.